my homie host.
All right, let's turn that down a little bit. Or wait, is that?
Yeah, that was loud, babe.
Yeah, that was a little loud. Anyways, here we are. Welcome back to Missing the Homies. Took a little break off because we were in Mexico, and it was lit.
It was very fun.
And we missed the first. That is one of my cardinal sins for this show. I try my hardest not to miss the first. But anyways, Bill, we're coming back at you. Bill is Toast Dad.
Oh, hi, Toast Dad.
His name's Bill. Put
Hi,
respect
Bill.
on Bill's name.
You guys have matching dad names. That's cute.
Oh my God, I never noticed that. But anyways,
I thought you were talking to your dad for a second, and I'm like,
My
I feel
dad-
like he doesn't watch
my
these.
dad doesn't watch these.
I don't mean that in a a
No.
diss track way.
This is
I just don't see him watching these.
if Tony's not watching this, but me and Tony always joke about how you and Rachel don't watch our show, and it's the perfect running gag. But anyways, we
I
are.
probably won't.
Yeah, it's fine. And you won't watch these over, but you're in it, so that's close enough.
Yeah, I don't watch these either.
But anyways, so we're back in it. Last month, I didn't get a proper sign off with my tia Lisa, but traveling in Mexico and we got COVID.
We have COVID.
I mean, yeah, but we got COVID on the way back. So I had
Allegedly.
I mean, it feels like it. Feels like we did.
Probably.
Anyways, but so I didn't
But
have.
if you hear me sniffle, that's why. Sorry, y'all. I'm
Yeah.
a little sniffly today.
But we're
We're feeling good.
feeling better. I wouldn't say feeling good.
This is way better than the first time we had COVID.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was horrible.
Well, I mean, the first time I had COVID, I was working 19-hour days.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we just had to travel 14 hours the first day. But before we get into this, I just wanted to put it on pod. Thank you to my tia Lisa
Thank you, Tia Lisa.
for giving me your time for the last month and all of the vision boarding and all of that stuff that we did. It was awesome. But without further ado, I would like to, my homie needs no introduction, but we'll let her do it herself.
What?
Yeah, you got to give
I have
your
to
own
introduce
introduction.
myself.
Yeah.
Hello, Missing the Homie listeners. I'm Renee, and I can't imagine anybody watching these doesn't know who I am, though.
Yeah, no.
I am
I can't.
Antonio's girlfriend
Oh, that's it?
and a live-in partner and co-cat parent. Like, I don't...
I mean, those are all accurate credentials.
Right?
So what are we here for this month? What did we decide on?
This month we are book clubbing.
Yeah.
Because we know white ladies love book clubs. So if the
Yes.
homie's the white lady, only fitting that...
I mean, me and Stassi did a movie club where I would say less of a movie club. I just watched Twilight for the month.
Which I'm still so thankful for. So, Stassi, if you're watching this,
She's not.
thank you.
And then me and Kiernan caught up on Marvel. So I've done movies.
You and Allison watched something, maybe? No?
No, we were going to, but I don't think we ever decided on it.
Gotcha.
But anyways, first book club.
But I
And
am
the
a
book
book
we
club
decided.
lover,
Oh
so-
yeah. If for those of you who are watching, we have, I mean, you can't see any books.
These are my
here.
This is my puzzle pile.
I thought you said this was my butt. These are my butt books.
No, these are my puzzle pile. But we have a bookshelf right here. We have my current reads next to Antonio. And we have...
I have my comics I'm reading in here.
Yeah, our coffee table is like a nook.
Mid-century modern.
Mid-century modern nook. And we've got, I can see about 11 books right now.
Damn.
It
1,
takes
2,
1,000
3,
to
4,
get
5,
to a
6,
library, and that is
7.
my personal goal. We're at, I think last time I counted, we were at like
You've counted?
250. Yeah.
I've never even.
When I found out how many it took to get to a library, that's when I counted, and we
How
were
many?
at like 250.
250.
Yeah,
So
and
we'd-
it takes 1,000.
So we would need 4 times as much.
That doesn't count. I didn't count any of my books in the closet because I have a lot of textbooks in the closet too. So
I think I have a couple in there too.
yeah, so
But still, what, 250, 260.
we're growing our collection.
So we have books everywhere.
So we're
it
book
was
people.
hard I would say it was kind of hard
To
for
pick a
us
book?
to pick a book for
Yeah.
us to talk about, to book club for the month. We could do The Ethical Slut that shout out to Doran.
Shout
I
out
feel
to
like
Doran.
Doran watches these every now and then, so shout out to Doran. We could do that, but he got us those books after we decided this.
Yes.
So
And
sorry.
this is so we are going to read The Practical Neuroscience of Buddha's Brain, Happiness, Love, and Wisdom by Rick Hansen
Rick Hansen.
with Richard Mendius. I don't know that I said that right.
Rick Hansen sounds like a drummer's name.
He is a neuroscientist with a PhD, but I don't know that he doesn't drum, so maybe he does drum. I won't put him into a box.
Don't pigeonhole my
I'm not
man
gonna
Rick.
I'm not gonna pigeonhole Rick. He could be a drummer, he could be a lover, he could be a fighter. I don't know. Anyways,
You heard it right here. Neuroscientists could also be drummers and lovers.
yeah, he's also a meditation teacher based on
He's not a drummer.
the back of the.
Eh.
You know, maybe he's like a spiritual drummer. You know how they
Oh,
have
like
those,
one of the
those,
you
like-
that guy on TikTok that has like the big thing where he's like,
yeah.
ding 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 ding.
Mm-hmm.
Those are cool.
Or like a drummer in like a Janae Aiko way, where she does like the.
Isn't that like a
She does do that, but
But that's
she
not
also,
drumming.
No,
That's
no,
like
no,
a
no, no. But that would be like the whole ambiance of it, you know.
I wouldn't consider that a drummer though.
But it's not But I'm not saying that you're.
Anyways,
I have read this book before years ago, and I felt like it really. It's one of those books that I like bring up a lot.
yeah.
Like
I mean, you've definitely brought it up to me a lot.
exactly, and I just feel like I learned a lot about like how to kind of like reframe things instead of being like I feel like it really helped me not be getting into a spiral of negative thinking, which I think is so easy to do, especially with like the pandemic, the political state of the world. Like so easy to just be like doom spiraling.
We're living through so many once in a lifetime.
Right, we're on
events.
like the brink of economic collapse. I'm like, I feel like I need to reread this book, and with how much I reference it, I want you to read it. So
Yeah.
for those listening in, that is part of why we chose this one, because I feel like I'm due for a reread. It's been a couple years since I've read it, and Antonio has never read it. So
In preparation for this, we each read the intro. What's it, like the first chapter?
yeah, it's
Or like
chapter
an
one,
introduction?
but it's really more of there is like a foreword, and then the chapter one kind of like lays out the book and gives you some foundational neuroscience stuff that they'll touch on throughout the rest.
So we read it
Right before Mexico.
before Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So can we go and do a little recap?
One of the
because
lovely things about this book is at the end of each chapter, they have a bullet point list.
I love it.
So would you like me to read to you and the viewers the bullets?
They're waiting.
Okay, so this is chapter one of key points. You know, when I worked in the library, I always wanted to have like a reading group or something. But like, what am I gonna read to college students? That seems weird.
Do you want to do like the elementary?
Yeah,
like-
I want to like be that person that like reads to children or old people. I don't care which one, but like at a nursing home. So I'm gonna pretend you're old or a child. What would you prefer?
I mean, I feel like. How about so we have panties right here. How about
Panties is the old lady.
okay? Then
You're
I'll
her
be-
grandson.
All right, I'll be Pants' grandson.
Okay. Chapter 1, key points. What happens in your mind changes your brain, both temporarily and in lasting ways. Neurons that fire together, wire together. And what happens in your brain changes your mind, since the brain and the mind are a single integrated system. Do you remember how they differentiated brain and mind, or no? Do I need to
No, because I was just gonna say like your brain is more like the physical aspect, and your
Right.
mind is what it encompasses, right?
Your mind is like your thinking. So like,
Oh my gosh, this takes me back to high school philosophy, getting into
you
like
took philosophy in high school?
Oh, yeah.
We didn't offer that.
yeah, I mean it was like intro to philosophy, and this is like getting
pretty
into
cool.
like metaphysics and like is the thing or is the idea of the thing?
Right. And so they talk about the brain being like the actual biology of like your neurons. So they say your neurons that fire together wire together. Like your neurons are the biological physical thing that are firing.
You could touch a neuron.
You can touch well, it's too small but you know what like you can touch that.
But it's like the
Exactly.
The tactile.
That's what's going to give you what you're thinking. So they don't differentiate them too much, because kind of like you're saying, like that's a whole philosophical question. But for the purpose of this book, the brain is the physical thing. The mind is your actual thinking.
So is it true that the amount of wrinkles is like in your brain, like that's what makes you like the more wrinkles, the smarter you are?
I'm going to be vulnerable for a second.
Oh my God. Are you going to tell me you have a smooth brain?
No, I got a C in neuroscience.
Oh my God.
I did not do great.
Okay.
I really struggled with the physics part of it. There's a lot of physics to the brain.
How?
Like the actual firing and the electricity, all of that. I bombed the physics chapter, which was like the first one. So then I played the entire rest of the semester trying to not get a D in the class. So I
You know what I got in neuroscience?
nothing, because you didn't take it.
So it's fine. Whatever. Your C is leagues above my nothing.
I'm just saying, I was taking that with physics, and I was confused as fucking physics, and I was confused as fucking neuroscience because I was confused as fucking physics, and I struggled. So,
Jesus. Anyways.
I have the basics down. I don't know that I can answer that question, though.
After you said physics and neuroscience and all of that, I completely even forgot my question. So.
I know your brain as this
Oh, the wrinkles. And
the
shit.
wrinkles, the actual like fire together, wire together. That was one of the concepts I like totally got. I was like, this makes sense to me. And when you're making new pathways in your brain, it would change the structure, the wrinkles. So that would make it like makes sense to me, but I don't know if that's actually your brain would never be smooth though. Nobody's ever gonna have a smooth brain.
That's
but
like it's like an insult.
Yeah, but
So
I
I don't
don't
know.
I don't actually know this.
I don't know the science behind the jokes. I just know the jokes. Anyways, next,
Okay.
next bullet point.
Next bullet point. So, because of bullet point number 1, in bullet point number 2, therefore, you can use your mind to change your brain to benefit your mind and everyone else's life whose you touch.
So you can use your mind to benefit your brain to then benefit your mind.
Right. Do you want me to break it down? Or do you think you got it?
You know, I got it, but I got it from this D&D podcast I was just listening to. The one that I just told you I was catching up on.
Would you like to break it down? You tell me what you think.
Okay, yeah, I'll
Tell
tell
me-
you what I think because I could be wrong. So you're using you're thinking about changing your own brain, which then in turn changes how you think.
Right. It's not. You're on the right path, but I want to tweak something you said. So you said you're
Please.
thinking about changing your own brain. That's not. You're thinking to change your own brain, but you're not. You can't. I can't think about my brain and say, okay, change the pathways. I have to do like exercises. So these neurons that fire together, wire together. That is like. Key.
All right, let's keep a running tally about how many times that is said throughout the season.
I'm just gonna say Firewire.
Episode.
Firewire, right? Okay.
One.
So Firewire. when you're firing and wiring together, that then changes the pathway. But to fire and wire together, I have to think and do those things together. Like if something
So it's not what I said was think about, and you're just saying you have to think different.
too, you have
think-
to exercise and practice changing your thinking.
It's a difference between preparation and action.
Exactly.
Okay.
So as you're exercising those new pathways, they're going to fire together, they're going to wire together. That changes your brain, and then that thinking that you desired to have early on, that positive thinking, that loving thinking, that whatever, then that's easier because your brain is like, I already got that pathway down.
Okay.
So then it's like a positive feedback loop.
So you're so you're rewiring your brain.
Yes. Bingo.
That's okay. That sounds like a lot.
People who have practiced deeply in the contemplative traditions are the, quote, Olympic athletes, end quote, of the mind. Learning how they've trained their minds, and thus their brains, reveals powerful ways to have more happiness, love, and wisdom.
The people who've mastered the contemplative,
Traditions are the,
Traditions.
quote, Olympic athletes
but
of
who?
the mind.
So in this book, they're just saying Buddhists.
Buddhists, monks, that it doesn't, they really like Buddhism, but really anybody who has had like deep meditative of any religion is positive. Just Buddha specifically really like pioneered a lot of how.
Right, and I'm not saying that to
No.
push back.
That was a good question.
My Eastern spiritual knowledge is not as deep as my mythology, my Greek and Roman.
Right, and that's nobody's
Yeah.
asking you to be a world
No, I'm just trying.
history.
I'm just
or
trying to get
religion.
it. Okay.
No, you're good. But yeah, they focus on Buddha specifically
This
here.
chair is really comfy.
I know it's my fave.
Yeah, I get why you.
Why that's my spot.
Yeah, I get why this is.
Do you
your
know why I
spot.
hoard it now? I
Yeah.
hope you don't. I hope he doesn't take it, y'all.
Well, I mean, you don't hoard it. Sweaty hoards it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so anyways, next bullet point. Sorry.
Okay. Next bullet point: the brain evolved to help you survive, but its three primary survival strategies also are what makes you suffer.
Okay.
You remember this part,
I
right?
slightly remember this.
Tell me what you remember.
The three survival. So fear. Fear's got to be one. The three survival tactics of the brain are. Yeah, I remember the Venn diagram. So fear. Oh, fear. Evolution. I want to say food, but like I feel like food can't be consumption. Go for it.
Okay, so it has like a whole little section that's like the causes of suffering, and it says that
Fear.
for sheer survival, strategies work great, but they also lead to Hold on, sorry.
We should tab this book.
We should. Oh, you keep talking while I look for a good thing to read out.
All right, so gonna highlight. That's one thing that I like, really like about having my own books and not using the e-reader. Like I use my iPad to read comics, but even that like doesn't feel the same. And I know there's different apps where you can go and like highlight and do all that. You found it? I can stop talking.
Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, so for sheer survival, these strategies, which is referring to strategies that helped us evolve, work great, but they also lead to suffering. To summarize, whenever a strategy runs into trouble, uncomfortable, sometimes even agonizing, alarm signals pulse through the nervous system to set the animal back on track. But trouble comes all the time, since each strategy contains inherent contradictions as the animal tries to separate what is actually connected, stabilize what keeps changing, and hold on to fleeting pleasures to escape inevitable pains. Most animals don't have nervous systems complex enough to allow these strategies alarms to grow into significant distress, but our vastly more developed brain is fertile ground for a harvest of suffering.
Okay, so let me see that. Let me see it, just so I can understand. So separate what is actually connected in order to create a boundary. So if something is hurting, you separate it. Stabilize what keeps changing in order to maintain its internal system. So stasis, it wants to stay the same. Hold on to fleeting pleasures. Okay, and then hold on to... Okay. So separate from what's bad. Keep
Keep your body.
at the stasis, and then hold on to what's good.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel... Oh, damn, I don't have a pen over here.
I don't either.
Anyways, we'll come back to it.
My puzzles.
No.
Sweaty
Okay.
probably took it.
Yeah.
Okay. So our brain evolved to help us survive, but its primary survival strategies also make us suffer. And something... This will come up later in the book, but one of the things that really has stuck with me is that our primal instincts can't always differentiate stress. So because our brains evolved when we were running from lions, the minorest stress can be
We weren't running from
but
lions.
that's I think that's the example they use in the book. But something evocative like that, literal life or death with a massive animal.
That's why we say fight or flight now.
Yeah.
The no.
That's something else, babe.
But okay, so
A small stressor in our brain activates the same thing
as
that
a
is
big stressor.
as oh my God, I'm
gonna
running
die.
from a lion, that kind of a thing. Just let it go. I'm fighting a bear. Is that better?
I don't know, closer.
But you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So me missing my train can feel oh my God, there's a lion running after me.
Yeah.
Even though it's not life or death.
Yeah, it's the same
But
same center of your...
Right. So you have to
brain.
untrain your brain to freak out mode.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Next bullet point. Virtue, mindfulness, and wisdom are the pillars of everyday well-being, personal growth, and spiritual practice. They draw on the three fundamental neural functions of regulation, learning, and selection.
Okay, so those are the three things that I was remembering.
Yes.
So wait, read them one more time.
Regulation, learning, and selection.
Yeah. Okay.
So they kind of line up.
Yeah, because regulation would be keeping yourself in stasis. Selection would be cutting off what's not. And then what was the last one? Regulation and learning.
Learning and selection. So it's regulation, learning, and selection. So but I was talking about the virtue mindfulness. So virtue relies.
What is virtue?
Let's see if they have a good
defined in the book.
Yeah, let's see if they have it defined in the book. Okay, this
Oh my God, I was just scratching my ankle for so long. I'm so sorry.
Virtue simply involves regulating your actions, words, and thoughts to create benefits rather than harms for yourself and others. That's how they define it. And here they
Aligning
say
your words and actions.
to create benefit for others. Virtue relies heavily on regulation, both to excite positive inclinations and to inhibit negative ones. Mindfulness leads to new learning, since attention shapes neural circuits and draws upon past learning to develop a steadier, more concentrated awareness. And wisdom is a matter of making choices, selection, such as letting go of lesser pleasures for the sake of greater ones. So that's kind of how they line up the three. So I was talking about those three, not the primal ones.
Right.
Because this is about...
but I remembered those three and not the primal three.
Gotcha. Because the primal three are related to suffering. These three are related to
Growth.
using your brain's regulation, learning, and selection to not suffer.
Understood. Sorry for the people watching who had to watch me scratch my ankle. I'm so itchy still.
We got three bullet points left.
Okay.
What? What?
The look was stop talking.
Yeah, I don't care about your ankle right
I
now.
know.
Do you need Benadryl?
No, we're
Okay.
good. We're good.
Okay, okay.
I know you've never watched the show, but it's very like this. It's
Oh.
very laid back. This is not come
I
here.
hear the show.
Yeah, but you only hear the one side.
Yeah, and it's a lot of talking.
It is. So that's what I'm saying. It's fine.
I'm
it's
the only one
chill.
that can
It's fine. It's chill.
talk over you, I
It's
think.
chill. It's chill.
Linda, listen.
Listen, Linda.
Listen.
Okay.
Okay.
Next bullet point.
The path of awakening involves both transforming the mind/brain and uncovering the wonderful true nature that was there all along. It's like
my gosh.
transcending.
This is just like my book, my Deepak Chopra book, The 7 Spiritual Laws.
Yes.
This is like everything that you're saying is like
Those are based on Eastern.
I know. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
I'm like I'm clicking them together.
That's
Okay.
awesome. Yeah. Small positive actions every day will add up to large changes over time. As you gradually build new neural structures, to keep at it, you need to be on your own side. And last one, wholesome changes in the brains of many people could help tip the world in a better direction. So they kind of, I feel like they end this book on like, be the change you want to see in the world. And like, which is like part of why I wanted to share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the world is so bad right now.
You could say it. Fucking sucks.
Fucking sucks. Damn it.
Yeah, no, it's
Um,
fucked.
So
Yeah.
this is a very individualistic approach for like a systemic issue, but when 9 people are making all of our decisions, I don't feel like I have much of a voice, so might as well
Do whatever you can.
Do whatever I
for
can.
Your,
for us,
for
you know,
Yeah.
make our household at least a safe and happy place since the world
Yeah.
isn't.
Pants is the Supreme Court of this apartment.
And Sweaty's
Sweaty's the Speaker of the House.
what am I?
I don't know. You're the women.
What does that mean? I hated that. I want to be the president just because you said that.
All right, you're gonna be Joe Biden. I mean, you stumble into enough stuff here. You ever seen Joe Biden stumble up the stairs?
I have.
Anyways, so I forgot what we were saying.
You're my first lady.
I'll be the first lady.
Thanks, babe.
That's me just sitting here planting the garden. But so after reading how long ago did you read the book? The first time?
Probably 3 years ago. 2 years ago. It was right at the beginning of the pandemic because I read it for a similar reason. I was like, God
Did you read it
damn.
when we were in Ithaca? Or did you read it before I came to Ithaca?
I bought it when we were in Ithaca. I don't think I actually finished it until we got to Wrightwood. Took me a couple months. But I started it in Ithaca.
I do remember you reading that
Yeah.
in Wrightwood.
Um,
Do you feel like it helped?
I do. And I do think it like has helped me differentiate being like, is this a true stressor? Is this really a lion? As much as you're gonna make fun of that.
I'm with
but
it. I'm
you
with
know,
the
like
analogy.
is this really a lion or does it just feel like a lion? And I think that has like really allowed me to be like and I think over practicing that, I've gotten better and quicker at differentiating it. Like I don't have to think as long and I don't find myself doing like I mean, you live with me. I
was
think
gonna
over the past
I was gonna
2
say
years
not
I
to-
spiral a lot less.
I was gonna say not to put your business out there, but I've definitely seen the change and I mean less spiraling.
I also think I'm a kinder person after reading this. Like the thought of like
I don't really notice that. I feel like
well
I have always been very kind.
But I've always been very kind to you because I love you. Like I feel like I am kinder to just the average person. Because like I have thought about it in a way. Well, this is also because I read this like kind of as I was like really starting to like release my Catholic guilt and get into more of the spiritual stuff that I felt connected to. So those two things paired together, I'm like, we really are in like this ecosystem of like we all like affect each other. So I feel like me just like going and getting coffee, if somebody like cuts me off in line, I'm not like pissed off and like rude to that person. I'm like, that was shitty. And then
You're
I'm
not
like,
you're not under your breath saying, "Oh, you're going straight to hell."
yeah, I'm like, well, that'll add 3 minutes to my day. But you know what? 3 minutes to my day is not me worth upsetting myself and getting shitty with this person.
Right.
Which I used to not be that way. I'd be like, fuck you. I was standing there. You know what I'm saying? Which would piss me off. It'd piss them off. I'm like,
Right.
3 minutes, not worth it.
Yeah.
Really not worth it.
Hmm.
So I feel like, sure, I'm probably the same level of kindness to you or my mom or Allison or whatever.
But to the average person.
Right. Like I feel like I try to put better energy out into the world because of that. Not and that like selfishly is better because then I'm not upsetting myself for no reason. But also like it's nice that I'm probably not pissing as many people off.
But I mean, there's something even to that's like doing it selfishly that I've noticed, not with you, but like in the past maybe year or two, that like, you know what, is that really that bad? If that was your only reason, not saying that it is, but like if your only reason is to be like, you know, it makes my fucking day 10 times easier to
I don't
not
think
be
that's
an
bad at
asshole.
all. And
Fuck it.
one of the things that we
Fuck
like
it.
use in like organizing principles that used to make me like uncomfortable when I started to get like politically involved is like talking about your self-interest with other people and being like,
Because
oh,
it feels slimy.
because it feels slimy. But that's like something that they kind of force you to do in one-on-ones. Like, what is your self-interest in this thing that we're organizing around? And I have to be like,
what are you here for?
what are you
what
here
is the
for?
point of you?
And you have to be like, you can't say, oh, the greater good of I'm here for climate justice for the greater good. No, selfishly, I don't want to send my children into a hellscape.
Fair.
You know, and like you have to like say those things and be like, this is my self-interest. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I like
That was more so me saying that out loud to myself.
Yeah. That's your self-interest, babe. I love it. What's your self-interest for being here?
I mean, here.
Here reading this book with me.
I mean, I guess I was gonna say here in this show. I feel like I've said that every episode.
Yeah, I know why you're here in this show.
I mean, I have noticed what you've gotten out of it, and I feel like, I mean, I've always felt like like I didn't get what, like, to your same point, like shedding your Catholic guilt. Like I never got what I felt like I was supposed to be getting out of going to church and like Catholic school and all that. And I always thought that like everything else was kind of woo woo. And so I was like, okay, I have this woo woo or every other woo woo. And so I like kind of ignored all of it for the longest time, and I didn't really like, I felt like I didn't really like need that. And then like once the pandemic hit and this happened and that happened and like your life gets fucked up. I understand why people look for something bigger to make sense of the world. And I think I'm just starting to figure that out for me. So
I feel more whole after deciding that I wasn't agnostic like I thought I was for a while there.
Yeah. So like I guess spiritually that's what I'm here for, but also like day to day, like how you said, like I mean, I feel pretty laid back about most things, but the rest of the
You
things
do get
I'm-
hot quick.
that's what I'm saying. Like like for most things, it's kind of whatever for me. But I would say the other 70% of the time, I care a lot about every other thing, and it bothers me so quick. And because like we've been together for a while, and all of your spirals, even some of the times I'd be like, oh my God, it's not that big of a deal, but it's such a big deal to you. And then my spirals, I'm like, they're probably not that big of a deal to her. So I want to be able to be like, to take a step back from myself and be like, this isn't a lion. This just feels like a lion.
Right.
And just, like drop it, move on. And like, and I feel like the little tastes of that I've gotten recently, like in the past year, maybe 2 years, I felt like my life has been better. Every day has felt a little better. So if that's what you got out of the book, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. And to your like spiritual point, I think like doing the reading that I was doing on like different witchcraft stuff and all that while reading this too, like I feel like that like allowed me to think like, what do I feel connected to? What's appropriate for me to like feel this, like what can I do that's like okay for a white lady to do and not be like co-opting anything but still feel like I'm connecting in my way.
Yeah.
And I feel like that has been so helpful in like grounding me, because like I used to be like, oh, I'm agnostic, I don't believe in anything, when I was like, oh, the Catholic Church is not for me, like
Yeah.
pushing myself out of that. But that like really wasn't true. And especially with like,
It just wasn't what you needed.
right.
And I going through, oh my gosh, this has become, what a show.
Therapy hour with Renee.
I was just gonna say, like, the same Catholic school. We got the same Catholic school brainwashing.
Yeah.
I have to, like, you did your reading on like witchcraft and all of that. Every time
Also because that was like something that was introduced to me by my Mimi. So that felt important too.
Right.
Of like having that family line.
see, because I didn't do that, but I read up on like the Crusades and shit like that, like the fucked up stuff that the church has done, and I'm just like, it's all fucked up.
That's
It's-
what really
that's
started to
what-
push me is world or history of the church. That was the class where it was in 10th grade, and I was like,
I never took.
We had to.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that would have been, because all of my religion classes, I had the
Cabrini
same,
had fake ass religion classes.
They were
We got the real stuff at DC.
My senior year, and I know I've told you this story, but my senior year, I slept through every single day. Every single day. It was fourth hour. No matter where my teacher put me, fell asleep. And at the end of every single test, I would get an A+ because it's the same shit, same 5 stories that they have said since I was in kindergarten. And my teacher was like, you can't sleep through class. I'm like, what's the problem? And they'd be like, that's disrespectful. I'd be like, I got an A. I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah, no.
I really don't. I'm not here to be respectful. I'm here to get my grade and get the fuck out.
Religion at DC was intense. 9th grade was straight up theology. That's what it was. We read the whole Bible for the year.
Really?
That was
Front to back?
front to back. We read the
Genesis
Bible.
to Revelations?
I think we skipped some, but we had to read something out of every chapter. Like it was like assigned reading. Like we
Oh,
read
shit.
like through the Bible. So did I read every verse? Probably not. But like it really was
Because we're reading scripture.
we were reading scripture. We were talking about what it meant. We were talking about when in the year you're supposed to say it at church, what kind of reading it would be. Like it was theology. Sophomore year, 10th grade, that is world history. You start with Jesus.
World history or like church history?
Church history. Sorry, I keep saying world. Church history, you start at,
Did you take world religions too?
yes, that's senior year.
What was junior year?
Morality.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Morality. That's the one that I got kicked out of class a couple times. And then the very last class you take is called like Living with Christ or something. And it's like, actually, that one was probably my favorite. I really liked world religions because actually the thing that I thought was really cool with the religion teacher that taught that was he had everybody take like this test. I probably have told you this, but he had everybody take this test and it lined up their beliefs with like what religion they would be if they weren't born Catholic.
And you got Buddhist.
I've taken that a couple times out of curiosity throughout the years, but like I got Buddhist, and he was like he was also who taught the Living with Christ thing. So his whole end, because it was like a semester 1, semester 2 thing. So first semester of senior year is the world religion. Second semester is the Living with Christ. His whole thing was like, you have to like choose this. Like you can't just because you were like born Catholic doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best fit for you.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that like just because you're baptized you can go do whatever the hell you want. He's like, see where your beliefs are, be strong in your beliefs, and then go live it. Like that was really his big thing, and I thought that was really cool.
I mean, that's how often do you hear that?
You very
Never.
infrequently hear that from the Catholic
Never
people.
heard that ever.
Right. So I think that he did a really, really good job.
How often do you hear, my parents were Catholic, I'm Catholic?
Yeah.
My parents go to church here.
I go to church here. Yeah. So I thought that he like really had this cool attitude of like choice, and like for a long time I felt like even though he was saying that and I like thought it was cool, I was like, my family's Catholic, so I'm Catholic. Like, and I love certain aspects of mass and whatever, but like,
love you a good church.
I love me a good church, but like, not for me. Not something that like
As fucked up as it is, I love reading about the Crusades. I think it's insane.
Do you like the Great Schism?
I think it's interesting.
That was my favorite part of church history.
Oh my God, this is about to be Catholic school trauma shedding month.
Well, my mom, for the longest time, our class.
Also, we have 5 minutes.
Okay, our class when it was like.
You say I talk. This girl here talks. Okay, I just had to make sure that wasn't shut off.
Rude. Okay, I'm done then.
No, tell your last bit. No. You were in the middle of a thought.
I just love the Great Schism. I find that was my favorite part of church history.
Okay, we can talk more about it.
TLDR, DC really taught us all religion, and my last religion teacher was like, you have to choose this, and this book helped me decide what my spiritual choices needed to be for me to live the most fulfilling life.
See, and Cabrini gave us the bubblegum version of... They gave us the rainbows and butterflies version of Catholicism. And at the end it was, great, we got another one. And people who graduated either became atheists or were Bible humpers. Or you were... No, it was basically one of those two. So I had to kind of shed that on my own. I didn't have a teacher who was like, you have to pick it. But I think that's awesome that you had that. So I'm excited to...
Yeah, this is what I picked. This plus my witchy stuff. So...
do you have anything else that you want to say before we wrap this episode 1?
No, just to set up our next episode, part 1 is talking about the causes of suffering. So those will hit on the evolution stuff. This is, I feel like, a lot of the brain sciencey stuff of like why we feel pleasure versus pain.
Is that chapter 2?
This is chapter 2. It's they have it in parts. Excuse me. So this is part 1. Chapter 3 is the first and second dart. I think about that concept all the time when you and I fight, so I think that might be helpful. And then those are the 2 chapters for part 1. So it's the causes of suffering. So we'll have 2 chapters to talk about next time.
Yeah, or maybe just one. don't
I
know.
was just thinking
Well,
about that way we
well-
don't, because I would like to finish the book before the end of the month. That way
I know.
we have.
I was just gonna see how many. We'll look it up. Anyways, thanks for joining along. This is Missing the Homies. I had to run the intro at the end or at the beginning. But any last words?
Love you.
Yeah,
Love you.
pretty
Bye.
wait.
I didn't hear it in my headphones.
Okay, wait. Let's run it back. Any last words?
Love you. Bye.
I love you too. Bye. Oh, fuck. Too loud. Anyways, cut.